sushi.
Oh yeah? 3 or 4. 3
Yeah,
4 4.
The 4 is.
Are you ready? Are you ready to tell your birth story? He's not feeling good. Poor guy. Okay, so I went to my 38-week doctor's appointment. My midwife, Jana, she said, you were induced for your last 3. Do you want to get induced for this one? I said, sure, we can make a date and we'll see what happens. If he comes before that, cool. If not, then we have a date. So on June 16th, day 4 of week 39, I went in to get induced. It was all pretty calm. We get there and they tell me that NICU is going to be present for my birth because of the medication that I'm on. Me and Chris were like, they don't need to be present, blah, 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 blah. We're just going to leave and we'll wait till I have the baby naturally. And then we will go to a different hospital because that's not necessary. Let me preface this by saying I'm a therapist and he's a treatment administrator for recovery housing. 2 months prior to this, in April, we had sat down with the Covenant nursing team which is the hospital, and we told them about our birth story and our experience with the NICU so that they could educate their team and their nurses about the stigma that we faced while being on medication-assisted treatment. Anyways, so with his birth, and they're like, the NICU is going to be present, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll just leave, and then we'll, have the baby naturally. And so then they had the doctors come in. They kind of talked me off the ledge, and they're like, he's not going to go to the NICU unless it's medically necessary. And I'm like, great, because it wasn't medically necessary for my other baby to go. And now he has really bad eczema because he was separated from me at birth. So unless it's medically necessary, unless he's not breathing, unless he's premature, just give him to me. Thank you. Anyways, so they talked us into staying at the hospital and giving birth and going through with the induction. So with the induction, how that works, it was 11 o'clock at night when I went in. They come in every 4 hours and they put a pill, it's called Cytotec, on your cervix so that it can soften up. The cervix kind of looks like this. It's closed and it needs to thin out and it needs to open up to 10 centimeters for baby's head to fit through. Obviously he's 5 months old now. This is much bigger of a head, but hi, big boy. Hi, big boy. We have to pick up my son from robotics at 6 o'clock, and we only have a little bit of daylight left. So I really wanted to film this video. Okay. So after they do the Cytotec, it's the next day. They come in. They're like, okay, this is not really progressing you very much. Do you want to do a Cook catheter? And I'm like, sure, go ahead. So they basically put a catheter up inside my cervix with a balloon, and they fill that balloon full of saline. And then they have another balloon on the bottom that they fill full of saline. They did offer me the epidural before they did this procedure, but I said no. It was a nightmare getting the IV in my hand. It took 3 different nurses, and then they went and got a CERT nurse or whoever is like awesome at getting IVs in. They had to go get her to get my IV in. So not even the charge nurse lady, like the head of the nursing team on that floor, could get it. I used to do drugs, and so my regular arms don't work. Anyways, so they ended up getting an IV right here in my hand, and it was very annoying. So the Cook catheter. So they put it up there, they filled up the balloon, and they filled up the other balloon. So basically those 2 balloons are pressing on your cervix, and it mimics the pressure of the baby's head. Huh, baby? So they did that, and after a while, that puts pressure. I was sitting on the peanut ball. I was jumping around. I was swaying left to right because I didn't have an epidural, so I could get up and do things, and it was pretty cool. And I could eat. So I did that, and eventually it fell out, and so that meant I was at 4 centimeters because that Cook catheter is like 4 centimeters big or whatever. So that fell out, and then they started Pitocin, and they broke my water. They stuck a little hook up there and broke my water. So once they started the Pitocin, my contractions really started ramping up. And when I got to about 5-6 centimeters, I was in pain. They did give me morphine, but because the medication I'm on for MAT, it blocks all opioid receptors. So it didn't really do anything for me. But once I got in the shower, when I was having really bad contractions, the shower helped tremendously. I could not believe how much relief the shower gave me. The shower was like my best friend. Chris actually got naked and got in the shower with me. And then, of course, he had to make it awkward for the nurses. And he's like, I bet you don't see penises every day at a birth. And I'm like, oh my God. So anyways, eventually the shower felt too steamy. Like I couldn't really breathe. So I got out of the shower and I got back in the bed. And I was dilated to a 7. And I was in pain, like fucking pain. I was crawling up the side of the hospital bed, like holding on, you know, those like railings on the side. I was like holding on for dear life, like kept kicking my feet, like pushing. And I'm like, Chris, this is fucked up. I was like, start the epidural. I'm ready. Stab me in the back. Stick me with a needle 40 times. I don't care. I need some pain relief. So she checked me and she's like, well, you're only a 7. So, and I was progressing like 2 centimeters every 3 to 4 hours. Like I was not progressing fast. So in my head, I'm at a 7, right? He's not going to come for another 2 hours. And I'm like, this is unbearable pain. Like I felt like my spine was being ripped out of my body. Like you can't even explain it. Ugh. And then he was born 30 seconds later. Little did I know I was in that transitional phase where he was coming down. And I was crawling up the side of the bed. And then, okay, so I was facing this way, crawling up the side of the bed. And then I grabbed my leg and pulled it back like this. And my body just started going, like my body was pushing. And she's like, don't push. You're only at a 7. And I'm like, he's coming. He's coming right now. Like, and I sound, you know, calm right now while I'm telling you this story. I'm like, he's coming. And then she's like, no, you're only at a 7. Wait till your next contraction at least. And then she must have seen his head coming or something, because then she changed and she was like, Dr. Deming, like paging all the people to come into the room. And it took about 2 pushes and he was out. It was so feral. Like, that was my first birth that I did without an epidural, and it was just amazing to me. It was incredible what our bodies can do. I will never get an epidural ever again because, and your recovery time's easier. So they make you sit in the bed for 2 hours just so you don't hemorrhage or anything like that. But you can get up and get in the shower. You do skin to skin with your baby right away. He was so cute. I'm going to put some pictures and videos at the end here of this little talk. But it was a magical experience. An unmedicated birth. Well, no epidural. It was the first time I've ever done that. And when I had an epidural, like the pushing was slow. Doctor was counting me through it. Take a deep breath. Now push 1, 2, 3, 4. And like she would do slow counts like that. And I would hold like that with my legs back. But him, no. It was a catapult delivery. He was out. He was coming out. And almost like I was in shock. Like, wow, that just happened. And it happened so fast. And I felt like a badass. Like, I just felt like I could conquer the world, really. I just felt like Superwoman. Yeah, I felt like Superwoman. Like, if I can do that, shit. Move out. Move on, world. And my mom gave birth 3 times unmedicated, so that was another, like, motivation for me. Like, I know that if my mother can do this, I can do this. I can totally do this. So Alex was born June 18th, 2024. He's the cutest little guy in the whole world. Right now we're in the Kroger parking lot, so he's looking at all the cars and all the stuff. Alex, look at this onesie. Isn't it so cute? It's a little bear. Both of my babies aren't feeling the best. James is at home with his dad, and we have to go pick up Harrison from robotics at 6 and Elizabeth from dance at 6. So I have to be in 2 places at once. So one of the dance dads is going to help dropping Lizzie off at home. But today is the first day that my big kids are coming home from their dads, and I'm so excited because it's hard to co-parent, you guys. It's hard to be without my kids for a whole week at a time and to share power with them. And she cuts my daughter's hair. His wife cuts my daughter's hair, and just all this stuff that's just really difficult. Do you co-parent? Do you have to co-parent with another party? It's really difficult. Really difficult. I hate being without my older kids for a whole week at a time. I miss them. And then when they come back, it's just like, oh, thank you. I missed you. I'm glad that these, my youngest 2, I still have, full time, but yeah, it's hard to have kids 50-50. If you do co-parent, tell me your story down below. If you had a baby, tell me your story down below. If you gave birth without an epidural, tell me your story down below. By the way, I gave birth 3 previous times to this with an epidural. So either way is valid. A C-section is valid. Home birth is valid. Like any way you get a baby and you grow it for 9 months and then you hold the baby in your arms afterwards is valid and worth it and such a beautiful experience. So my birth pictures, like where I'm holding him at the end, like I'm kind of a little bit naked, like they just kind of put the blanket over me. So I'll censor him out, but I'll post him up here too. All right, guys, the sun is going down. It was nice to say hi to you guys today. Say bye-bye, Alex. Bye-bye. I didn't have very much energy today, so I was worried about getting a video posted. So thanks for sticking through it with me. Mwah. Bye.
Abracadabra! Ja, dieser Kuchen war geradezu bombastisch. Und die Nachfrage danach erstarkte drastisch. Barbara eröffnete noch im selben Jahr eine Bar und nannte sie Barbaras Rhabarberbar. In der Stadt gab es auch ein paar Barbaren, die hatten von Barbaras Rhabarberbar... Go!
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night.